Hey you guys, I'm Gina and I'm one of the moms at Not Your Pinterest Mom, and today we are going to do another budgeting video. So this one is one that I think is really important that nobody seems to talk about. We only ever talk about like monthly closeouts and things of that nature, but really if we're doing this week to week, we can see how we're doing as a whole. So this is my expense tracker from my Budget by Paycheck workbook from Not Your Pinterest Mom. She challenges you to only use 4, and thus far I'm right on track for that, and I'm not even filling up the pages, which is making me even more excited because we are moving to a cash spending family. So that means that I have more money than what is sitting in this checking account, and I have all of my other that are in my cash envelopes. And if you've been following along and you go back a few videos, we did a cash envelope stuffing not too long ago. And also this is a part of my weekly budgeting routine. I have done a video on that in the past, and filling this out throughout the week is also part of my daily money routine, which I also have another video on that. So if you guys want to check those out, we'll have them linked in the description down below. So I'm not doing my nap time hustle, so we've only got so much time here, so let's go ahead and get started. So you'll see I already have this completely filled out, and I do an expense tracker per paycheck. So my husband gets paid weekly, I get paid twice a month. So we end up I do one of these a week. And these are only the cleared transactions because that's what will have hit during this particular pay period. And it can be a little frustrating for me because my bank takes up until Wednesday to clear pending transactions from over the weekend. So my bank doesn't clear, pendings will sit there for days at a time. So it's extremely frustrating because it throws my trackers off, but it's really hard I want to show what cleared my account per pay period. So you'll see I have these color-coded. I have little symbols, color-coded symbols out to the side because I ran out of highlighters. And, you know, there's only so many colors that come in a pack, so we have to just get creative here. So if we look right here, I have my inflows that I'm tracking. So they're this right here. So this is all the time that money inflowed into my account. It's usually just paychecks, but this in particular, we have a credit union local credit union that we're moving away from and moving to one that's right in front of my house that's exponentially better. So this was me clearing out that account to move it all to my son's 529. This was leftover money that I saved up for his first year of life with the intention of whatever was left over would kick off his education savings. And I'm really proud to say that that is a substantial amount that was left over, but I continued to replace what I spent. So, but at the time when I saved all that money, we were not doing as well as we had hoped at the time. Now you'll see that I just have different color codes. I have orange for Rusty. He's not supposed to use the checking account really for things. He's supposed to use his cash on hand, but we're working on it. It's been getting consistently better over the last few weeks. It's just new habits. Blue is for my son Jake. Green is for food. Bills are for envelopes, and yellow is for bills and envelopes. And I want to address, I don't track I track the cash spending within the cash envelopes, but I don't track it here. And the reason for that is that my husband also carries cash, and it would throw the whole thing off because he's not going to track his cash spending. He just, when it goes, it goes. He's not going to tell me where it went or where it didn't go. Oh, so then I don't track my cash spending here. I just consider it spent once it's withdrawn from the account. This is how much got stuffed in cash envelopes. I take 40 each week for spending, and then I give my husband 45 because he has a nasty chewing tobacco habit. Then I have treat fun here. Typically, the only reason why this is here is because I bought a phone, and then I bought the savings challenge from the Budget Mom, but usually this doesn't happen. We're currently working to build our cushion, and it's not going well, but we're going to keep working on it. So then miscellaneous, and I just throw that for stuff that wasn't particularly planned for. I tried to do $30 a month in there. If I can, I'm going to work that up to 100, but we're working on it. The cool thing about budgeting is you can always move things around. You can find money if you need to. And this is evolving as my husband and I get more intentional with our spending and move more to cash and are getting better with our spending habits. So that's all of my categories. There is this one for home, and it is an inflow. I did not mark it as an inflow because this was a transfer from my savings account to cover spending where my husband and I, we bought a safe and some childproofing. So I moved that from savings because while we didn't save up in cash for that, it was an important purchase to make. So that's why it's not marked as an inflow. This was canceling out an expense from, let's see if I can find it. It was canceling out an expense here. So it was canceling out this expense right here and putting that money back in our account. So now how I close out for the week is I'm going to add up all these categories and then total how much was spent for the week. Not how much came in, but how much was spent. And this is just to let me see how we're doing. So we're going to start with Rusty because why not? And we're at my computer because I use the calculator on my phone and I use my phone to record. So that's where we are. So we've got 941. And I like to color code because it makes it easier. This stuff just jumps right out at me and it makes it really easy for me to find the transactions that go in what category. So now we'll do Jake. Jake was easy. I just had to buy some formula for him this week, and this is a month's worth. Sadly, he's growing up, and he's about to not need this as much anymore. And I also make sure that I'm saving throughout the month. I have a whole sinking fund for him that covers diapers, formula, his prescriptions, because he does have pretty severe reflux. And then I try and pad it a little for if I want to buy him a little book or something like that. So the next line, we'll just do the miscellaneous because there's two of them and it's right there. So we've got, this will cancel itself out. I have a transfer that's coming. My parents paid me back for that. And it was, they paid me back in cash, which brings me right back around to my complaint about my freaking bank. Then we'll do treat fun. I mean, seriously, what kind of credit union does that? You know, people, we're not a cashless society as much as some would like for us to be. It just doesn't work that way. So, just a note here, I bought myself a new iPhone because mine was crapping out on me. I'd had it for 3 years and I used the hell out of it. And I used part of my bonus and then part of my stimulus check to do that because it was definitely a need. So where am I? We'll do bills and envelopes next. So, and just a fun note about my Netflix and my Disney Plus subscription. I actually pay those with my Stash account and I get stock back. So I get Netflix stock and I get Disney stock back just from paying the bill. So that's pretty cool. We'll leave my Stash link down in the description so that if you want to sign up and start getting stock back just for paying your bills, you can do that. I like it. So we paid our mortgage this week. That's why this is so unnervingly high. Let's see. home. We'll do plus, even though, okay, now food. We try to eat at home as much as possible, and we've drastically reduced our food spending. And also my groceries are a little higher. We're about at we're averaging 120 a week on groceries, and that's because I buy a lot of baby food, and it would be higher if I didn't buy from Aldi. I was at one point I was making all of Jake's baby food, but our power went out for days in October, and it killed everything in our freezer. There was a power outage from a massive storm, and it killed everything in our freezer. So, and I wasn't about to sit down and remake all of it. He'd gotten old at the time. I was really struggling to keep up. I was drowning at the time. So, I just didn't. So, he eats, I call it people food, but I mean, he's eating finger foods for the most part. We've had a lot of issues with him eating and whatnot, just due to his reflux. So it's just, that's why my food bill is a little higher than I would, my grocery bill is a little higher than I would like for it to be. But he'll, you know, it's okay. Whatever he needs is basically kind of how I look at it. And then we have some unexpected medical expenses that came up, and luckily I had money, I have money in my savings account. For this, I was exposed to COVID at work. So it's going to end up costing me $100 when it's all said and done after my next test. So I will be starting a medical envelope here in the future that I will keep $100 in at a time. And I'm going to do another video on my sinking funds at some point and explain how I look at them and what I use them for and how they work. So now we're just going to add up all of these categories here. Oh, 26. Okay, so we spent a total of $3,542.12. I'm just gonna, just for posterity's sake, just do it one more time. $3,542.12. So that's how much we spent this week. So, and the reason why it was so high was because, well, I got paid this week, so we had more money that came in. This was a cash stuffing week because I got paid. So I do all of my cash stuffing when I get paid. So that, and then we paid our mortgage. So that's one of the reasons this is as high as it is. But if we look, our spending is still pretty good. So if we look at the beginning of the month compared to now towards the end of the month, you'll see we spent on food. We've drastically reduced this. You'll see Rusty's spending has been put in half. Jake's is, I don't really technically look at that. And then this is not the norm either. So for our major categories, where like the two categories up here are where things tend to get away from us. And if we look, there's been significant improvement week over week in those particular categories. Like I said, this one, the treat category isn't the norm. It was bonus season and we got our stimulus check. So that's the only reason why we have this sort of stuff right here. We treated ourselves a little bit. And then Jake, his spending is accounted for and his expenses are the same every month. If he needs clothes or anything like that, it comes out of the clothing sinking fund. But you'll see, this is how I'm able to see we're actually, even though this total number is going up, but it's just based on bills and envelopes, our actual spending that had just caused us problems in the past is improving. So that is one of the reasons I love to do a closeout every week, so that I can see how we're doing week over week, as opposed to just looking at where our money went for the month as a whole. I like to put this other little thing in because I can adjust in real time. But next week, I'll do the where did my money go exercise for you guys. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that maybe this inspired you to start tracking your expenses week over week and doing a weekly closeout. Let me know in the comments below if this is an exercise that you do, or if you do something similar to track your spending and watch your trends week over week, or if you just prefer to see what it looks like in one lump sum in the month as a whole. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.